If increasing IGF-1 automatically made people taller, this conversation would be simple, but it doesn't. And that's why so many people get frustrated. They raise growth hormone, they increase IGF-1, they optimize sleep, they feel stronger, they recover better, and their height does not change. So they assume one of two things. Either the compound didn't work, or they're completely done growing. In reality, most of them were solving the wrong problem. Because IGF-1 doesn't create height, it amplifies whatever tissue is still capable of responding. And if that tissue is gone, you can amplify forever and nothing will happen. That's what this video is about, not how to spike IGF-1, but whether spiking it even makes biological sense for you. Because misunderstanding this one signal can cost you years. Let's slow this down. You already know growth hormone plays a role in height, but growth hormone does not actually lengthen bones. It sends a message. IGF-1 is what carries out that message. When growth hormone is released, mostly during deep sleep, it travels to the liver and stimulates IGF-1 production. That IGF-1 circulates through your bloodstream and binds to receptors in tissue, muscle tissue, bone tissue, cartilage, organs. But during childhood and adolescence, one tissue matters more than all the others: the growth plate. Growth plates are layers of cartilage at the ends of long bones. Inside them are specialized cells called chondrocytes. IGF-1 stimulates these cells to divide and mature. As they multiply, cartilage expands. Over time, that cartilage becomes bone. That's how bones lengthen. No IGF-1 signaling, no meaningful longitudinal bone growth. That's the mechanism. Now here's where people go wrong. IGF-1 only drives height growth if growth plates are still open. Once growth plates fuse, the structural opportunity for lengthening disappears. The signal can still increase, but the target is gone. And this is where realistic hope separates from delusion. Because when growth plates close, IGF-1 doesn't stop working. It just changes role. Instead of driving bone length, it supports muscle repair, connective tissue quality, bone remodeling, recovery, metabolic function, all valuable, but not length. Now pause here, because this is where frustration starts. Some people increase IGF-1 and feel better recovery. They sleep deeper, they train harder, they feel stronger, but their height doesn't change. So they say, IGF-1 didn't work. It did. It just amplified the wrong system. IGF-1 does not decide what grows. It amplifies whatever tissue state exists. If growth plates are active, it amplifies growth. If growth plates are fused, it amplifies repair. The signal is neutral, the structure decides. And this is the mistake most people never realize they're making. They chase signal intensity without checking structural stage. Now let's go deeper. Most people think IGF-1 is just a number on a blood test. But numbers don't tell the whole story. You don't just need IGF-1. You need sensitivity to it. IGF-1 binds to receptors on cells and activates intracellular signaling pathways that control growth and protein synthesis. But receptor density matters. Receptor sensitivity matters. Inflammation matters. Stress hormones matter. You can have high circulating IGF-1 and low response. You can have moderate IGF-1 and strong response. Because hormones don't act in isolation. They act inside environments. Chronic stress elevates cortisol, which antagonizes anabolic signaling. Poor sleep blunts growth hormone pulses. Inflammation interferes with receptor signaling. Insulin resistance alters IGF-1 bioavailability. So when someone says IGF-1 didn't work for me, what they might actually mean is, my system wasn't responsive. That's not a signal problem. That's a biological state problem. Now, here's the part almost nobody talks about. Estrogen. Even in males, estrogen is one of the primary drivers of growth plate fusion. As puberty progresses, estrogen signaling increases. That increase gradually closes growth plates. Not the disappearance of growth hormone, not the disappearance of IGF-1. The structural tissue itself transitions. And once fusion is complete, the structural opportunity for lengthening is gone. This is why timing matters more than intensity. If someone is late in puberty and plates are partially open, optimizing IGF-1 may still influence growth velocity. If someone is fully skeletally mature, the same intervention produces a different outcome. Not worse, different. Now here's the uncomfortable truth. Age alone doesn't tell you everything. Some people mature early, some late. Some reach skeletal maturity at 17, some closer to 20. That variation matters, but guessing is dangerous because once full fusion happens, no amount of signal can reopen plates. That's not pessimism, that's structural biology. Now let's talk about something that creates even more confusion: local versus systemic IGF-1. Most people think only about liver-produced IGF-1 circulating in the blood, but tissues can produce local IGF-1. Autocrine signaling, paracrine signaling. Inside bone, IGF-1 influences remodeling. But remodeling is not lengthening. Bone constantly remodels throughout life. It thickens, it strengthens, it adapts to mechanical load. IGF-1 supports that process, but remodeling does not create new length once growth plates are fused. So when someone feels stronger, denser, more stable, that can be real, but it is not longitudinal growth. Understanding that distinction prevents false expectations. Now here's where nuance brings back realistic hope. Height expression is not only bone length. Spinal discs dehydrate during the day and rehydrate at night. Postural mechanics influence measurable height. Chronic compression reduces standing height over time. Muscle tone influences spinal curvature. Recovery quality affects tissue hydration. IGF-1 mediated recovery may support systems that influence these variables. That is not fake growth, it is structural optimization. And for some people, that optimization is measurable. But here's the mindset shift that matters most. IGF-1 is not a growth hack. It is a biological amplifier. It amplifies whatever tissue state exists. Growth tissue, it amplifies growth. Repair tissue, it amplifies repair. Metabolic imbalance, effects shift there. The signal is neutral. The structure decides. So instead of asking, how do I raise IGF-1? A better question is, do I still have growth tissue capable of responding to it? That's a harder question, but it's the only one that determines direction. Because once you understand your stage, everything becomes clearer. Protocols become strategic instead of emotional. Expectations become realistic instead of desperate. Frustration drops, and energy stops being wasted. Now let's answer the question directly. Can IGF-1 increase height after puberty? If growth plates are still open or partially open, yes, IGF-1 is essential for growth. If growth plates are fully fused, IGF-1 will not create new bone length. That clarity matters, because uncertainty creates anxiety. Reality creates strategy. When you understand your structural stage, you stop chasing myths. You stop comparing yourself to someone in a different biological phase. You stop reacting to every anecdote online, and you start working with biology instead of against it. In the next video, we're going to talk about how to evaluate whether you're likely still within a responsive window, without guessing, without fantasy, without blindly trusting age alone. Because once you understand your structural stage, you stop chasing signals, and you start making intelligent decisions.